Hello and welcome to the session. I am Akshay Kumar from School of Computer and Information Sciences, IGNOU, and I'll be discussing with you e-learning and its benefits. E-learning is one of the most important application of electronic system, internet system, ICT system of the day. Let's discuss the objectives of ICT in education so that we can define e-learning in the proper context. Well, ICT can help in lifelong learning. That means e-learning, which is electronic learning, which is basically bringing in the technology of ICT to learning, can be used for everyday learning of ours. And many of you might have started this particular activity when you go to internet and look for some information or some video which basically explain you how to perform a particular task. Right? So the lifelong learning is supported by ICT. It increases variety in educational services because the information is available in different forms, different types of media, and it helps us in learning from various medium. It may be video, it may be textual information, it may be several pictures, right? So we will be able to learn from multiple sources. And not only that, there are the reusable objects which can also be used for learning. So we can, like Wikipedia and other places where we get some reusable objects also for reuse and learning purposes. It provides equal opportunity for obtaining education. Opportunity is equal, but what we should be comfortable about is the digital divide. And if you are not comfortable with the technology, you may be missing out on certain things. Although, as far as technology is concerned, it provides us a unique way of providing equal opportunity to everyone. It can impart educational objectives at all levels, starting from basic literacy to higher end education. Now, that is another interesting domain because you can provide training using ICT, you can provide basic level of literacy where lots of videos and lot of graphics can be given lot of weightage, whereas at higher or at a much higher level, it is going to be more textual, more presentable, more pictorial, which basically communicates more information in less amount of time. So that is how the ICT can be utilized in education at various levels. The point of concern is that it has the flexibility and it can be used. It can help in developing of learning skills. Now that is a very important thing because learning skills are so important for us today that we not only just learn about certain things, but we also want to learn about how to learn, right? So those are additional benefits which we can get from e-learning, and I would like to talk about that particular thing a little bit more. But let us first begin or discuss the first issue, that is, what is e-learning? Well, e-learning is a formal teaching learning system which provides learning through electronic resources. Now, these resources may be videos, these may be audios, these may be text, these may be any other form of presentations, graphics, right? So animations, all these things provide a form of learning. Now, when we are using e-learning, it can be non-linear, otherwise it can be linear also, but in general, e-learning, when we are talking about e-learning, we have availability of lots of resources. So it can be non-linear also at times. And it is whenever we get non-linear education or we are dealing with the domain of non-linearity, it is the user, it is the learners who controls what he or she wants to learn. So that is the kind of situation which you get in e-learning. It is dynamic, as per the learner need. Learner once again can change as per his or her need. Suppose a learner does not know a particular topic well, then he or she can go deeper into that particular topic, right. So, and dynamically as per the speed of the learner, it can change the pace also. Reusable objects can be used. There can be a lot of content. Content can be divided into smaller chunks or pieces, like the units which we have given for you, right. So, those units then can form a reusable learning objective, which can be utilized in different situations. Every unit has certain set of objectives, and towards the end it has certain set of questions. So, you are expected to solve those questions after you go through the unit. So, that forms the basic crux as far as learning objective is concerned. It can be formal as well as informal, right. It helps in knowledge management also. Why? Because we are producing so much of information and we are recording that information at one place. So, once you are recording information at one place, it can be placed there, it can be edited, re-edited, and can be enhanced. So, it provides basically a knowledge management scenario where knowledge can be put into different formats, and over a period of time it can be managed for upgrades and other kinds of things. Okay. Help in creating communities. Now, this is something which you are very much accustomed about, because that is what you are using on social media, right. Social media, and these days an application where the telephone based application where you can create your own friends group and you can communicate with them. So, you technically are creating communities, but the objective here in e-learning is to create a learning community which shares information about a particular topic and learn from each other. So, that is the spirit of communities as far as e-learning is concerned. Learning can be from other learners, content, and experts. So, e-learning provides us an opportunity, right. We can share in the communities, right. We can learn from the contents and we can learn from the experts. Many experts can help us in learning some of the objectives. In addition, the reusable learning objects, now they can be designed by a different expert altogether, and whatever he or she has worked on, or whatever he or she has made available for us, can be used by us for learning purposes, right. So, e-learning, now what are the characteristics of e-learning? Well, the very first thing is that it is good for educational activity which requires significant interaction. Many times you would like to interact with people, I mean the teacher, learner. It's some sort of like if you are creating a collaborative document, e-learning is a good way of doing that particular thing, right. So, collaboration, it allows us collaboration, but the disadvantage in this category is that everybody should be equally skilled, right. Otherwise, that collaboration is not going to be possible. So, but it allows us to do that, okay, which requires, for example, games, even games and simulation, we can work together to solve a particular problem, right. So, we can collaborate, we can solve problems. These days, there are strategies which we can evolve as a team. So, these are possible these days in e-learning. Good for explaining complex processes and interactions, such as using with the help of animations and graphics, with the help of setting of parameters and observing the effect of those parameters. So, e-learning is, you can create those simulations and you can check. We do remember that sorting algorithms in computer science, these are typically projected with the help of animations, where different sorting algorithms, how fast they run on specific data can be displayed, right. Similarly, the animation of flying and all those kinds of things can be there, where you will be interacting with various people, right, and you will be learning in the process. Shipping application, there can be the simulation where you can learn from your colleagues. You interact with your colleagues and just navigate a particular ship from a particular situation. So, all these things are possible with the help of e-learning today. You don't have to really go to the actual situation, and you do it on a simulation platform. Possible, but difficult to make also, right? Now, good use strength for each media, like we can use strength for each media in this particular situation. For example, video is good for showing real dynamic sequences, right? Printed matter is best for representing a lot of text or graphical information, and mobile for connecting and information dissemination. So we can utilize different technologies in e-learning system for different purposes, and that is the essence of e-learning. It's not that we just do the straitjacket duplication of classroom learning into an e-learning scenario. If we do that, then we are wasting our precious resources to a certain extent. We should be more creative when we are using e-learning. Like one of the statement which is stated there is that good for teaching problem solving skills also. Now, problem solving skills specifically are very difficult to obtain, and normally it is recommended that we go to face-to-face situation. But today e-learning is starting to move to that particular direction with the help of video conference and group learning for each one of these purposes. So this, technically speaking, what we say is that e-learning can be used for whatever you can do from formal teaching learning process. However, you got to simulate those experiences, you got to create those experiences, which is more difficult in case of e-learning. If you can create those, then e-learning is equally effective as face-to-face learning in most of the domains which we are talking of. Teaching and e-learning. So how teaching relates to e-learning? Different from what it is in the traditional classroom teaching, because the role of the teacher in e-learning platform, he or she is an author, he or she is an actor, he or she is a director, and he or she is the one who is techno-savvy and using all the technology which is available at his or her doorstep. So the role of teacher changes significantly when he or she using e-learning. Possibility of one-to-one interaction with the students, that you have on face-to-face situation also, and here also you have the similar kind of possibility. But here the possibility of getting quick feedback from the student is there in a collective, like you can create feedback studies and student can give you those kinds of feedback very quickly and very effectively in this particular way. You can do the similar thing on the face-to-face. There is no stopping on face-to-face. Everywhere it is possible, it is doable. Develop teaching strategies which should take into consideration the local needs. So as per the local conditions, teaching strategies can be changed. There can be groups of people, the groups within the groups, there can be different kinds of teaching formats which can be used, right? So like the teaching resources can be changed, the local resources can be utilized for certain purposes as far as e-learning is concerned. Enhancement of accumulated knowledge and experience of various types that adds value to the content. It facilitates, because when the local content get accumulated at different places, and if it can be what we say collated, it can be put together, right? Then it is very useful for general public in a combined knowledge, as a combined knowledge source. So that is a very useful advantage of e-learning. Then it improves the effectiveness of teaching learning process because of this multiplicity nature of teaching learning processes which are possible in e-learning, right? So that is how, like what we have noticed, or you might have noticed, that not everybody learns in a similar way, right? So people learn in different ways, and e-learning supports, if it supports each of those ways, then definitely it is going to be more effective. Now, e-learning has also many possibilities of using digital libraries and content repositories these days. The digital libraries have lots of good reference books available, and students can use those reference books, can learn from those reference books in a very effective manner. There are virtual classrooms available, right? So virtual classroom can be utilized for delivering sessions, delivering teleconferencing sessions, one-way broadcast sessions, whatever way you would like to use. So the sessions are available. It is our creativity how we utilize those. Virtual laboratories are available, although they are not very popular these days, because the number of virtual laboratories which are available are not very high, right? So they are not the ones which are very popular, but at least they can be utilized for starting a particular, using a particular domain, getting into a particular domain. So they are available to a certain extent, and you can use them. Then one of the important advantage which we have in e-learning system is the content management. As I said, that knowledge can be curated in this particular situation. So it allows curation of knowledge, creation of knowledge from various possible sources into one single place, and that is possible because we have features like content management, okay, where contents can be put and curated and can be delivered as per the needs of the students. Okay. Then finally, the learners management. Now, learners management is one of the most interesting domain when we talk of, because e-learnings allows us to know lots of things about the learners. In fact, the massive open online courses, when they were first delivered in somewhere around 2000 plus, like they were delivered from various platforms. I think it was somewhere around 2010, right? So that time when they were delivered, they were not they were popular, but the outcomes were not very effective. Right. So those outcomes were, they were not very visible. However, when the feedback study was done from the teachers, like how do they like that many students receiving that particular input from them, but what teachers are getting in return. So teachers said a very important thing at that point of time, and what they said was that they are getting good feedback about the topics which they are teaching. So if you are not getting the right kind of feedback on a topic, then you teach it in a different way. Now e-learning allows that kind of a learner management for a teaching learning process. Now that you can imagine that it is going to be really beneficial for a teacher to know that this particular topic needs more or this is a difficult topic, let me put more content for it. So it becomes a very interesting domain, it becomes a very interesting situation when we are dealing with teaching learning through e-learning processes. Now e-learning, in addition to in all these things, how they can promote the skill development, and I would like to spend some time on this particular issue, that how e-learning deals with the learning skills. Now if I talk of learning skill, the very first learning skill which is most important for us all is managing and developing self, right? Under that category, if I say students can manage their own roles and responsibilities, when you are given an e-learning platform, you have been told that this particular topic is to be completed at suppose in let's say few hours, or let's say in a week, this is what are the topics which you need to cover. Now you got to manage it by yourself, right? It has not, you need not do that particular thing at the 11th hour. The good part about e-learning platforms are they keep telling us that every day how much time you should try to devote, and if you are not devoting, then they keep telling us about that also. So it is a good exercise, it is a good reminder for us, and as students, we should manage our roles and responsibilities. We should be doing our learning activities. We should be, if something is to be communicated or collaborated, if something is to be discussed in a group, I should be very clear, you should be very clear about your roles and responsibilities, so that you are able to perform the things in the rightful manner. And this is a very important skill to be successful in life. e-learnings makes you learn this particular skills by yourself, helps you at all the time by giving you lots of reminders. It does not mean that you should become dependent on the reminders, but over a period of time, we develop that kind of a habit of learning and fulfilling our roles and responsibilities. Student can manage own time in achieving objectives. Right. Now, this is very, very important. In a normal classroom situation, probably you have to sit in the classroom, even if you are not there in the classroom mentally, but you physically are there in the classroom. But in e-learning classroom, you can manage your time as per your convenience, right? And it is very, very important that you manage the time such that you are able to devote a lot of time for learning, because learning takes you further in your career, further in your future endeavors. It is really, really helpful. So, learning should be the major focus in any case when you are dealing with in your student life, and e-learning allows you to manage your time in achieving objectives, and it also allows you other times also, because if you are not free at the time, suppose you are supposed to devote 1 hour in a day or 2 hours in a day, you can decide which of that particular time you would like to devote. However, on other aspect of e-learning in the sense that if there is a session on a video conference session, then probably you have to be present for the video conferencing session. But if you cannot be present for that session, you can even record it for playing it later on. So, there are multiple ways by which e-learning supports you, and but ultimately the objective is that you should be able to manage your time in achieving the objectives. The system can promote critical thinking to allow transfer of skills gained to new and changing situation and context. So, this in any case formal education does the same thing. It teaches you so many aspects, life skills, that you can apply those life skills in a different situation, and especially your presentation skills, so your content development skills, your problem solving skills, your attitudes, your behaviors. So, all these things can be utilized at many different ways. Not only those, your technical skills, your subject oriented skill, your content matter oriented skills can also be utilized in different situations. So, you become a problem solver, you become a better communicator, okay, and that is how e-learning as well as in general learning supports you. The other skills which you can obtain through e-learning, working with related to others. Now, this is going to be very interesting skills when you generate here in e-learning situation domain. You are actually moving outside the domain of the class, right? So, you can treat others' values with respect, beliefs and values, belief and opinions with respect. So, you actually are in an international situation, right? So, your group is very, very wide. Your group consists of people from different geographical areas. So, you may be able to learn many things from each other, which is a possibility in e-learning. Slightly, I would say slightly better in the sense, because in the classroom situation, if you are doing graduation, you are bound with the same group. But in e-learning situation, if you are doing different courses, it's not necessary that a particular course will be taken up by the same number of students, right? It may be different groups of students, and you can be part of different groups altogether, and that creates good learning activity. You must interact effectively with individuals and groups. That is, in any case, that is what you are going to learn from a particular situation. You can work effectively as a team member. E-learning also allows you to do group projects. There are many software where you can do collaborative development of let's say project reports, collaborative development of let's say experimentations, right? So, you can do a lot of things, the project management and all those things you can do use with the help of even e-learning, right? So, it is very important that we all collaborate and with others to enhance our skills, and that is possible through e-learning also. Communicating with others. Well, student can receive and respond to variety of different forms of multimedia information. So you can you get a lot of different kinds of information, so you must respond to, you must learn from different kinds of information which you are obtaining, and that is something which is possible in an e-learning situation, because we have inputs from many different sources coming to us. These days schools are doing the similar kind of thing. They are utilizing e-learning even in the classrooms, right? Students may present information in a variety of visual forms. So today you can utilize different ICT technologies to create wonderful assignments and presentations, and you can deliver it through maybe e-learning or any other different ICT based platform. You can you must also communicate in writing. Here e-learning platforms also help you in some of the grammatical corrections at some point of time, and which during the process, I mean at the time of making a new document, some corrections may help you, but over a period of time when you make many such documents, it becomes a habit that you learn from what the suggestions come from the e-learning platform. So that is additional learning activity towards the writing. So improving your language skills in a day-to-day manner is possible when you are dealing with e-learning platforms. Opportunities to participate in oral communication, surely this is like multiple group presentations can be there, and in the form of video conference sessions. So that is what is possible in e-learning today. Then managing tasks and solving problem. Now this is a very interesting domain, although we won't say that the e-learning platforms are very strong for solving problems, but then they are trying to reach to that particular domain also. Student can use different information sources, right? And from those different sources they learn. They identify and solve problems where they can be independent problem solvers, and they can be working in groups. Now today ICT and technologies are so strong that you can communicate within groups and can solve problem as a group. Apply numerical skills and techniques. So you learn and you can apply various numerical skills. You have tools where you can use your numerical skills, okay, and some graphing presentations, all those things you can utilize, which makes your presentation much better and leads you towards a better problem solving domain. Use a range of technological equipment and system which ultimately you are able to utilize when you go into markets, the job situation and so on and so forth. Then applying design and creativity. Now this is a very interesting domain. Applying a range of skills and technique to develop a variety of ideas and creation of new modified products, services or situations. So basically you think and you do and you apply, right? Use a range of thought processes. So you develop those thought processes within your own domain. Now the point here is that e-learning allows you to do all these as our formal system also allows you to do all these. Now you need to be more creative. You may need to be more accepting these kinds of technologies, and then only you will be able to get into this e-learning domain or e-learning situation. It's not that all e-learning situations are going to take you through all these kinds of domains or learning experiences, but you got to explore, you got to create, you got to be more, what the word is creativity in that particular sense. So you should be more creative when you are utilizing the e-learning tools and resources, the ICT tools and resources for e-learning purposes. Now, what are the benefits of e-learning towards that? Well, the very first benefit when we are dealing with e-learning is the convenience and portability. Okay, so e-learning applications can be taken to any place wherever you want them to be. So you decide the schedule, right? So at your convenience, you decide the schedule. So manage your time. This is where your schedule comes in. No physical attendance is required in technicality, but then there are e-learning system where attendance is also required. But in general, e-learning system does not enforce that attendance requirement is there, because you can record the sessions and can go through them later on. It's self-paced. You are the one who is controlling what you want at what point of time. Read materials online or download them for reading later. It is up to you. So you basically define that at what point of time, I mean your convenience and the collection, what kind of collection you would like to use is decided by you. Then cost and selection. So e-learning platforms are many, right? And if you want to learn a particular topic like information technology, there will be umpteen number of courses available for you as far as market is concerned, right? Now, from those courses, you are free to select those courses which are less expensive, right, and provide you a rich source of experience, and the feedback studies of all these courses are available, so you will be able to decide for yourself what courses you will be needing at what point of time. So you can choose from wide range of courses. Then there are degree, vocational and certificate programs which are available. Prices vary. MOOCs earlier were free, but nowadays the international MOOCs are very expensive, right? And SWAYAM, we are providing all the information free. So there are, in India, our country scenario, we are getting a lot of free information, right? These days, a lot of free courses, and sky is the limit for learning these days. And it is the best time for us to learn, actually, right? Other benefits of e-learning can be that e-learning is very flexible. It provides you flexibility. That's what is the convenience related to. Higher retention. Now, how e-learning promotes higher retention? Well, it is because of the multiple or the multiplicity of ways by which it tries to reach you. Okay, so that is where you will be able to get higher retention. Now, in fact, I would like to suggest to you, like whenever you are listening to lectures or you are watching some YouTube videos which are of 15 or 20 minutes duration, it may be a good idea that you start taking notes as you take in the classroom, right? Maybe those notes taking in the form of that the PPTs are always provided, the presentations are provided. So on those presentations you may record some of the information which you want to put for your future remembrance or so. So it may be a good idea to do that also, but in addition it provides the multiplicity of forms. If suppose a difficult concept is there, then it can be supported by animation. So e-learning has that potential. I said potential, right? So remember that particular word. Then greater collaboration. We have spoken about this greater collaboration about a great extent, that it allows us to work together collaboratively on different projects, right? And this is a reality for today. Then there are global opportunities, right? These days, in fact, it may not be in the context of e-learning, but in the jobs, many people are now saying that sitting from your home, you can work for international companies, right? Because work from home has become one of the reality in the present day world, right? So you can work for even Google, Google maybe sitting at your home. You can work for any other company sitting from your home, right? Remember one thing, like working from home is very taxing, right? You require to work really, really hard when you are working from home. It's not that easy, right? So, I mean, don't think that by sitting at home, it is going to be easier. It is equally hard as while you are working on place, on job, in that particular sense, right? Okay. Then we have central storage of digital repositories. Now, this is a very unique type of thing which is possible with the e-learning, right? So make better use of private study periods. So you can have your own private study and private study time, and you can take better use, because then you are fully devoted to that particular time. Deliver a course that can be shared across schools and the university. So e-learning can allow you sharing of information across university platforms. SWAYAM is trying to do exactly the same thing, right? So that many people can learn from the same content, from the same information. But then it also provides good opportunity that many people can collaborate to produce the similar kind of, the good content or the better content at that point of time. Then extra tool for teaching, right? So these, like many different tools you can utilize for teaching. So the point is that e-learning is good for students, e-learning is good for teachers also, but it requires major effort on part of both, all right. So communication with the student is possible even in the e-learning situation. So let me sum up what we have covered in the presentation today. Well, first we talked about how ICT can help in education, right? So discussed about various aspects like lifelong learning and all those things which ICT can bring into education. Then meaning of e-learning was explained to some extent, although not definition type of thing, but a generic definition was shared, like the working definition was shared with you. Then the possibilities with the e-learning, what are different possibilities like skill development and all those things which are possible with e-learning, and the skills that can be imparted with the help of e-learning were explained a little bit. And then we talked about the benefits of e-learning. Well, there are huge number of benefits as far as e-learning is concerned, but only those attempts or those e-learning situations are successful where we devote ourselves to, like as teachers and as well as students, we devote ourselves together and be very creative to bring very useful learning experiences for the students. Thank you for being with me. Bye for now.